Hello Admirals and welcome back to my channel where I talk to you about Battlefleet Gothic, the space fleet game based in the Warhammer 40,000 universe. I have returned from my week-long holiday. I went over to Western Australia. It was wonderful. If you ever get a chance to go there, it is a great place. Highly worth a visit. But you're not here to listen to me rabbit on about my holiday and all that sort of stuff. I've done some videos, a couple of videos on upgrades on a couple of other fleets like the Rogue Traders and Orcs and Orc clans. So there's another upgrade table that's for AdMechs. The Adeptus Mechanicus also have an upgrade table that you can randomly roll on. So you roll a D6 and based on that, your capital ship will get an upgrade and it's built into the cost. So there's no points involved here. And you keep rolling to see if one fits. If it doesn't fit on that capital ship, then you roll again to make it work. So, what is that table, and what kind of tactics could be involved with that? Well, let's have a look. It's a pretty straightforward. This is going to be a bit shorter than the other upgrade videos, because especially the Orc Clans one. That's very detailed. This one, you get 6 options, and you can go from there, basically. Is it great? I'd wish you could buy it, like you could choose, but it adds a little bit of fun and complexity and a bit of sort of narrative. You never know what you've got on AdMech ships because they just pick up random archeotech. Could be Xenos, could be human, who knows, right? So the randomness of it is a bit of fun to it, and can add a little bit of that, a bit of spicy tactical nuance that you may want or may otherwise not have if you don't roll on it. So yeah, let's take a look at the table and yeah, have a think about what works and what doesn't. So like I said, the AdMech table allows you to roll randomly D6 once for what's called the Mechanicus gift table. And these improvements are already included in the costs of the various different ships that you can get with the Adeptus Mechanicus. So there are 6 different options. So you have emergency energy reserves, advanced engines, repulsor shielding, fleet defense turrets, gyro-stabilized targeting matrix, and augmented weapon relays. So you roll a d6 for each of your capital ships, and then from there, you allocate the right one to it. So emergency energy reserves, so when a ship is crippled, the ship only reduces its turrets, shielding, and weapons by 25% rather than 50%. The vessel still counts as crippled in every other respect, so victory points and things like that, but it does mean your ship is a lot more useful in the fight and can stay in the fight a lot longer compared to the standard sort of process. So it's a good little one to have, especially on sort of a brawler ship for your AdMech, potentially on, say, the Gothic or the Tyrant, which wants to stay in there and keep plugging away with its weapons batteries and its lances. So a good option if you can get it on that. You have advanced engines is number 2, which gives you 5%, as well as 5 centimeters extra of speed, which is great. As many videos you'll hear from me, extra speed and maneuverability on any ship in any war game is always good in tabletop. It also adds 1 extra d6 when you're on all ahead full orders as well. So if you're in a scenario where you need to rush across the board, that potentially could really help on those capital ships and get you in there, especially for these ships which are quite slow. Number 3 is that repulsor shielding, which ignores all the negative effects of having a blast marker or gas clouds in contact with the ship's base. So this applies to leadership, your movement, repairing your critical damage in the end phase. This effect also goes away if the ship suffers a shield collapse critical damage, though, so that does happen often. I'm going to be perfectly honest. This one is useful, but probably out of all of them, the least one you kind of want, maybe, I think, personally. The number 4 is then fleet defense turrets. So up to 2 turrets on a ship are exchanged for the fleet defense turrets, capable of protecting itself or any other vessel within 15 centimeters in each ordnance phase. Adding 2 plus the current strength of the ship in its defending. It is defending, I should say. This does not alter bomber attack rolls when defending another ship, though. Just bearing that in mind. So you've got to keep that in eye. And but they operate exactly the way any other turrets would. Now this is useful, but less so in the AdMech fleet in reality, because AdMech fleets get +1 to their turret value anyway on regular ships, so they have a lot more turrets anyway. So again, I think repulsor shielding and fleet defense turrets are kind of the ones you don't really want, but I mean, they're fine, but they're not the best per se, right? Number 5 is the gyro stabilized targeting matrix. So ships' weapons are reduced to 75% instead of 50% when they're on all head full, come to new heading, or burn retros, special orders, which is pretty good, to be perfectly honest. Again, depending on the scenario, you know, if you want to rush across the board, that still doesn't completely halve your weapons. So that could really make the difference, especially in sort of hitting at range and things like that. It could add that extra dice that you need to get that extra shield down, etc. And then number 6 is the augmented weapons relays. Weapons battery shift left on the gunnery table before all other modifiers are applied, and lance hits count as double on rolls of 6. That is the one you want, perfectly. Out of all of them, I mean, I'm a big fan of adding speed, but realistically, potentially getting double lance hits, potentially that's just wonderful, especially on something like a Gothic, or even on something like a Retribution, where it can reach out and hit with those long-range lances and potentially do more damage. Yeah, that's probably the best one, if I'm perfectly honest. And if you could pay to pick, that's the one I'd be quite often picking, to be perfectly honest. But not too bad. They're not all. They're not. I would say, you know, the weapons relays, the advanced engines are probably the best, along then with the shielding and the targeting matrix, and the emergency fleet reserves, energy reserves, then coming in next, and then probably defense turrets are probably the is much of a muchness when you've already got those additional turrets. But so yeah, if you could get say I would say advanced engines on a couple of those ships, maybe light cruisers, something like that. If you can then maybe get weapon relays on your Gothics, that could do, or Retribution, that could do some serious damage. And then the targeting matrix on things like maybe your Tyrants, or even those Gothics again, really useful. The fleet defense turrets, maybe also the repulsive shielding useful on, say, a carrier. So your Dictator could really do with that extra maybe shielding to help protecting a little bit. And keeping the critical damage away a little bit. So there are options. That's the hope. They're the ones, but like I said, they're random, so you could end up with complete awful rubbish. It's probably out of all of the upgrade tables, unfortunately, because you can't choose the worst of the lot. But it does add that flavour, like I said. So there you have it, Admirals. The AdMech upgrade table. Unfortunately, it's not the best, but because you don't get to pick, like I said, but it still has that bit of fun and narrative element, and it's free roll, right? It's costed into the ships, you don't need to pay extra, so there's no reason not to try for it and get that potential added little extra on a ship that can potentially tip the battle in your favor. Add speed, added weapons, it could really help. And it does, to be perfectly honest. It's just a shame you can't pick. Just a shame. But I hope you enjoyed the video, Admirals. I think the next video I'm going to put out this coming weekend, I think I'm going to be talking about Adepticon, which, if you don't know, is a major event in the wargaming calendar, and Battlefleet Gothic has a tournament there. So if you're interested in that and hearing about Adepticon, the tournament of past and the one coming, I'm going to be talking about the scenarios that they're going to be running in that tournament, and some of my thoughts and some of my fleet ideas that potentially I would run in that. I'm definitely not a competitive player, so it would all be be fun and games and narrative based. But so hopefully on the weekend I'll have that for you. So in the meantime, Admirals, if you have any thoughts on the AdMech and their upgrade table, put them in the comments, leave a like and all that sort of stuff, and let me know what you think. And we'll go and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers, everyone.